right. Welcome to this webinar on the integration of Easy Insight to teamwork. For this webinar, we're going to cover the current version of the pre-built dashboard. We're going to kind of cover how you modify a dashboard. We're going to look at drill throughs. We're going to look at building custom reports on teamwork data. We're going to look at the types of data that we pull over from teamwork. And we're going to answer any questions you may have. As we go through this webinar, feel free to ask questions in the Q&A whenever, and we will answer as we can. A recording of this webinar will be made available after as well. Okay, so this is the current pre-built version of the Teamwork dashboard. So when you first connect Easy Insight to Teamwork, this is what you get out of the box. So for example, here we have some key performance indicators around how many tasks are open and late, how many hours have been logged for this month relative to last month, how many billable hours have been logged this month relative to last month, how many tasks have been completed this month relative to last. We have a view of the number of open tasks by assignee and whether those tasks are on time or late. We can see what number of tasks have been completed this month. We can see a breakdown of our active projects by project category. And we can see our billable and non-billable hours logged for the month. We have our filters across the top of the dashboard that allow us to pare things down and look at data for a particular project or a particular subset of projects, for a particular assignee or subset of assignees. Next, we'll go ahead and go over to the Trends tab of the dashboard. This is showing you various historical information. How many tasks have been completed each month? What's been the billable percentage worked each month? How much has been invoiced each month? How many milestones have been due each month? You can adjust this date range by clicking on the date filter. And for example, paring it down to only show data from May of 2020 to the current month. Next, the Resource Allocation tab is showing you the average number of tasks that each person completes on a weekly basis. And then for the upcoming 6 weeks, how many tasks does that person have assigned to them? The coloring here is intended to help identify people who are overloaded relative to what they normally work. So for example, Chuck White usually does 4.5 tasks in a week, but in this case, he's got 6, 5, etc. assigned. Tables is really just a simple way to quickly search across tasks, going across projects, across any combination of things. The Gantt chart is designed to help you see what's going on for a given project across its different task lists and the individual tasks making it up. We can adjust it to say, look at data on a week view as opposed to month, or down to an individual day. The calendar view is showing you each task with when it's due, with coloring based on who it is assigned to. The Time tab is showing you key performance indicators for how many hours in a specified time range have been worked, how many of those have been billable, what's been the billed amount, and what's been the billable time percentage. We also have crosstabs here showing the number of hours by month and person, the billable percentage by month and person, and the amount billed by month and person. Risks is pulling over the information around risks that are in your teamwork system. So for each risk, what is the associated project? What is the risk probability, the impact? Does it affect performance? Does it affect schedule? Does it affect cost? What is the mitigation plan if there is one? And what is the status? The nice thing about this is that it is going across all your projects, so it provides a centralized way to see your risks across your entire teamwork account. Finally, the projects view shows you each project, whether or not the project has been completed, the number of open tasks, the number of open and late tasks, the completion percentage, the last project update status, which includes the color and content of the last project update, and the date at which that update was logged. Does anyone have any questions around the pre-built dashboard? So there's a question of will this be made available to us? So this is the dashboard that pops up when you create a new connection to Teamwork. If you're an existing Easy Insight user, which I know you are, who asked the person who asked the question is, if there's particular reports that you need help with in trying to add to your account, please let us know and we'll help you get those reports recreated on your account. Let's see, there's also a question around what are the updates for update status. Those are if you have project updates logged via logged into your Teamwork projects, that's what'll show up. Hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, feel free to ask again. Okay. All right, so next, let's go ahead and make a change to this dashboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add team to the dashboard. Sorry, just answering one further question. The question is, can I use this pre-built dashboard as a copy or base to make changes? You can if it's a new connection to Teamwork. I know you, who are the person who's asking the question, is an existing user. So if you need help in kind of getting this dashboard into your account, please let me know, and I can definitely help there getting that going. Okay, so jumping back to what we're going to do next here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add team as using the new team functionality in Teamwork as a filter to the dashboard. So we'll edit the dashboard. We'll click on Create Filter. We'll open up Project Teams, and we'll choose Teams Name. We'll choose Multi-Value. That is going to give us a pick list of the different teams in our Teamwork system. We save the dashboard. Then after it saves, we'll go ahead and do Navigate End User to return to the original view. And now we have a Teams name filter here. We can click on the all. And for example, say we only want to look at creative projects or projects that are assigned to people who are part of the creative team. And now it's pared it down to only show this subset of projects. Especially given the number of fields in Teamwork, you'll definitely want to be able to customize the dashboard and add filters on things like, from team to project company, custom fields around your projects. Many other possibilities there. One further thing we can do with our team name filter is we can set it up such that when we have a value selected in team name, the project name filter only shows projects that are part of a given team. To do that, we can edit the filter for project name. And you'll see we're already filtering on project status and project category here. We'll go ahead and check the checkbox next to team's name so that this project name filter is itself filtered by team's name. So again, we'll go ahead and save the dashboard. Wait for that to save. We'll jump back to the end user. And now, when we click on the project name filter, we're only seeing projects that are part of the creative team. As you can see, if we then go back to all, our list is quite a bit longer. Especially, I know for some of the users some of the people I know on this call, I know you have hundreds, if not thousands of projects, and using this sort of parent filters can be a great way to make things a little bit more manageable. Any questions around filters there? All right. So next, let's go ahead and take a look at drill throughs. So with the dashboard, you can click on, say, a chart element to pull up the list of tasks or time that makes up that data. And there is a question of, will parent filtering include single value filters in the future? Possibly. That one gets a little bit trickier, but that may be something we do add at some point here. So within the drill through here, we have the task, we have the project, we have the assignees, we have whether or not the task has been completed, the due date, the date at which the task was completed, a priority if there is one, and the estimated minutes for the task. Now, this is just kind of a template for what you can use. You may want to customize this and add other columns, remove columns you don't need, so on. To do this, we can go ahead and go back to data source, open up the dashboard reports folder. Let's see, we'll go ahead and I believe it is target task list. And let's say, in this case, we're not using priority. So we can click on task priority, do remove the field. And we could go ahead and add in, let's add in task count. So we see the number of tasks. And we'll go ahead and add in, we'll go ahead and add in time entry hours to see the number of hours that have been worked for that task. We can go ahead and save our drill through report. And now, when we open up our dashboard again, we click on that same piece here. We're now seeing the number of tasks and the time entry hours included with the drill through. There's a question of whether or not we're recording this webinar, and yes, we are. So we'll definitely be sending out a link after the fact. right. Any questions around drill throughs there? Okay. Next, let's go ahead and build just a custom report on our teamwork data. So from your teamwork data source, do create and create report. Actually, we're going to jump back for a sec because the question was just asked, which is probably a good one to go over, which was kind of understanding the mechanics of which report is used as a drill through report. So the way that you do this is if you click on configure the data source, all configuration options, then go to field rules. It's about halfway down the list here. You'll see that there's different conditions here. And so for example, the first one is for all fields, add a drill through to target task list. So what this is saying is for all fields in the data source, the default behavior when somebody clicks on it is to add a drill through to target task list. Now there are other ones in here. So for example, here, it's saying for all fields on data source time tracking, add a drill through to time entry list, such that what comes up is more of a time specific report as opposed to a task report. You could go in here as well and say, for example, for all fields that are tied to milestones, add a link, and we don't have a report here, but you could add a link to a milestone specific report. This is also how you know which drill through is being used. So in this case, it's adding a drill through to target task list. So we know that that's the report that is being used as the drill through. So if we want to make changes, that's what we would make it to. All right. Okay, so custom reports on teamwork data. So from the report builder, when you click on choose field, you'll see the different fields that we pull over from teamwork. At this point, I believe we're not pulling over every single thing, but pretty close to it. You've got budgets, you have calendar events, comments we're going to come back to. We have companies, expenses, invoices, data around milestones, projects, project updates, rates, risks, task lists, task assignees, tasks, teamwork project extras, and teamwork task extras. So these are additional calculated fields that Easy Insight provides beyond the basics of what is just pulled over directly from the Teamwork API. So, for example, in Teamwork Task Extras, this contains additional predefined fields to help you with the number of tasks that were completed late, that are open on time, and so on. Same thing for time entry calculations is here to help you track billable hours versus non-billable hours. And then time tracking contains your various time data. So to assemble a report, you would go ahead and, for example, choose task assignee name. That's going to add each task assignee to your report. And then task count is going to give you the sum of tasks by assignee. If we go ahead and do create filter, open up the tasks folder, choose task completed. We have several different options. We can do single value, False is going to say that we only show us the sum of tasks where task completed is false. We could add a further filter to say only show us tasks where the due date, and we could do rolling, range, or absolute. So we could do rolling, due this month. We can change the report visualization by clicking on the button here that says list. Here you see the different types of reports that are available to you in Easy Insight. We could choose column to change it into a column chart. Or we can make a further change to a stacked column. We'll go ahead and choose, here we'll do project name and task count. And now we're seeing for each assignee, the number of tasks they have due this month that have not yet been completed by project. All right. Any questions around custom reports in Teamwork? Obviously, this is a whole massive area. For kind of report building specifics, I would definitely recommend checking out our previous webinar on building reports. Since that easily filled an hour webinar earlier, but any Teamwork specific questions around that? We have a question, can we use the tags on tasks to create dashboards? The answer is yes. Unfortunately, the test data I set up, I do not have tags. However, to use it, all you would do is go to open up the tags folder, grab tag name, and use it like any other field. You can use it, you can group data by tag name, you can create filters on tag name, and so on. The same thing is true for milestone tags as well. And then we have a question, can we group data for a task that has multiple tags? So for multiple tags, that's where it gets a little bit trickier. Let's see. The answer is yes, it's doable. Unfortunately, I do not have a great scenario set up to show you at the moment. If you want to reach out to me directly, I can certainly help you with that. Offline. And same thing is true for anybody else who is trying to do reports around multiple tags. Just reach out to me, and we'll definitely help. So one section that I mentioned that we'd get back to is comments. This may actually be changing soon, but for the moment, comments default to not being pulled over because they do substantially increase the time it takes to pull data from Teamwork. If you want to pull over comments, what you can do is configure the data source, go to Teamwork, check include task comments, and then refresh. The same thing is true here if you want to pull over archived projects. You would check this and refresh. The one further use here is reauthorize access. So let's say that the administrator on your Teamwork account leaves the organization, and so you have some new user who is the new administrator. You'll want that new administrator to come in here and do reauthorize access to update the connection so that it's using the new person's information to pull over the data. Otherwise, when you delete that person, the person who's left user, your refresh will stop working. one last thing we'll jump over. One thing you can do as well. I've already done it here in this case, but under getting started, there is an option to set up two-way reports. And what two-way reports enable you to do is to make changes to your teamwork data directly from your Easy Insight reports. So for a given task, you can mark it as completed, you can change the due date, change the priority, change the estimated minutes, change tags, and change assignees. This can be a great way to rapidly make changes from a view that goes across projects, or just looking at something where you have a report that is showing overdue tasks across all projects, being able to quickly go in and update priorities to quickly reassign them. Just something that is there as well, that is functionality that you should be aware of. All right, we're down to just 2 minutes left. So any other questions that anyone has? We'll go ahead and leave it. We'll keep it running here for another minute or so, just in case anybody else has any other questions. One more minute. All right. Well, thank you for attending this webinar on Easy Insight and Teamwork. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us via phone or support, and we'll be happy to help. And we hope this helped you kind of learn more about what you can do with Easy Insight and Teamwork. And I think that's it. Thanks again for attending. And we will send out a link to the recording here as well, probably Monday next week. Thanks, and have a great weekend.